Hey, this is Mariela from the Functional Company. All right, today I want to talk about water. Water is one of my favorite topics, and there's a lot to know about water. So here, today I'm just going to give you a few pieces of information I find very interesting and very useful. So water comes from the earth, and because it comes from the earth, it should be arriving to us naturally with naturally occurring minerals, because those minerals are in the earth as well. Things like magnesium, calcium, potassium, sodium, etc., right? So these things should be in the water, and then when we drink it, the water should have minerals in them. So what this also means is that we have a pH scale, and the pH scale ranges from 1 to 14. And right in the middle is a 7, and that's what we would call neutral. Anything below 7 is called acidic, and anything above 7 is basic. So minerals are a little more basic. They're pretty much the opposite of acidic, right? And because of that, then the water that we drink should be a little bit on the basic side. About what number? 7.4, 7.6, 7.8, etc. That's in its naturally occurring state. Obviously, the thing that happens nowadays is our water supply is just filled with so many toxins that we can't just drink it directly, right? We have to filter it, and we have to clean it, purify it, etc. So what happens is tons of stuff is getting dumped into our water supply. And of course, we can't just continue to drink that. It's very harmful. This is why I don't recommend people to drink tap water. Even though it is cleaned, it's not completely filtered, and it still has a lot of stuff we really don't want to be ingesting. So we have to get a really, really good filter. But basically what happens is in the filtration process, a lot of these minerals just get stripped from the water. And then we also pump a bunch of chlorine into the water to clean it, right, as much as possible so it's not toxic to us. So it's got too much chlorine in there, and it doesn't have enough minerals. So if you actually get these little test strips, there are ways to check or test the pH of the water. It's actually very interesting. You can get this on Amazon, but if you test the most common popular brands of water, a lot of these waters are actually very acidic. What does that mean? It means they're lacking the minerals. And it's not just that we want water in a natural state, but the reason that we want the minerals in the water is because when we drink it, we actually want the water to go inside of the cell. And in order for the water to go inside of the cell, we need minerals, right? This is what's really going to hydrate us properly, and otherwise it's just like we're drinking a bunch of acidic water, and what happens with that is that it can actually strip minerals from the body. So this is just kind of like the most important thing to understand is, at the very minimum, we want water that's slightly basic in its natural state. And so the best thing to do is to add some minerals back in your water, or get a really good water supply. So there are a few things I could recommend. Like, one of the things that I like, if I'm gonna have bottled water, I really like Mountain Valley spring water. It's in its natural state. It's at about a 7.6 pH. And then there's some filters that I recommend. There's one that's called a Berkey filter, that if you don't want to spend a lot of money, it's actually a really good filter. But you do want to make sure to add minerals back into your water. So there's like some little ionic trace minerals that you can just add to your water. And that's a great way to just kind of tip the scale back to that proper pH so that the water can be hydrating. And you know, I actually went to a conference that was delivered by a guy named Dr. Winston Cowell, and he has been studying water for over 30 years. He was talking about, he was talking about water for 4 hours. It was so interesting, so useful. So a few things that he mentioned here is that, you know, we've got this reverse osmosis filter that's very popular. But one of the things it has is it has this little extra side filter because a mold can accumulate. So with the reverse osmosis filter, it can filter out some things, but then you have empty water. Again, it's empty because it doesn't have those minerals, so it's not going to be hydrating for the body. So remember to add those ionic minerals back into your water if you have a reverse osmosis filter. Now, Dr. Winston Cowell also has he created his own filters, which I highly recommend. And you can check them out at Ideal Earth Water. We have products we love on our website, which is functionalco.com. You can go there, and then there's an area that says products we love, and that's one of the filters that we really like. And then I mentioned the Berkey filter, which is just if you want to make a lesser investment as well. That's kind of like another one of your options. So that's in terms of filters, but remember that what we want is we want water in its most natural state, and we want it just slightly basic because of these naturally occurring minerals. So that's probably the main thing I would say about water. There's probably a bunch more things to say. I have a podcast on water if you want to check that out. Flip Your Mindset About Health is a podcast, and so you can find out more because there's lots to know about it. But yeah, that's what I want to mention this time around. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you on the flip side.